You handle a lot of tough questions on CNN, and I saw a report you may be considering a Senate run. Is that true? Are you considering that?
Man, the internet's a crazy place. Long way until next May.
It is a long way, but
Yeah.
that seat will be open when McConnell's out. So I was wondering if maybe you were throwing your hat in the ring, possibly.
Yeah, I read all this with some amusement, but again, it's a long way till next year. But I'll tell you this, I think Kentucky has benefited from having Republican senators for a long time. I think that seat ought to be in the hands, ultimately, of somebody who's going to help Donald Trump execute on the president's agenda. And frankly, I think politics is a team sport. The president's ahead of our team, and I think eventually he'll need to weigh in here on who he thinks is best to help him execute on his agenda. And just as a piece of analysis, whoever Donald Trump endorses will be the next senator from Kentucky.
Because you've got Rand right now and McConnell both pushing back on the tariff actions for Kentucky.
They've had their differences with Trump on that. I mean, look, a lot of Republicans have, and no Republican really pre-Trump had necessarily been trained to believe in this particular idea. I mean, the party orthodoxy here was not oriented around tariffs.
Yeah, free trade. Yeah.
But that shows the power of Trump, and it also shows the changing nature of the party. You know, Trump has reoriented the party around a lot of working class Americans who probably voted for Clinton in the 90s. Now they're voting Republican and they're voting for Trump. So anytime you change constituencies, I think it's natural to see evolution in the party's platform. And so I think that's why it's happening. But there are certainly going to be some Republicans who have some differences of opinion, but there's only one president, and Trump's the unquestioned leader of the party.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You know, real quick, you mentioned the 90s. You know, he's knocked off the Obamas, the Clintons.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bushes. He's the only one to actually knock out all these dynasties.
Yeah, I remember back in his first term thinking Donald Trump basically taking out the traditional media and taking out the Clintons. No matter what else he does in his life, you know, he'll never buy another Diet Coke in a Republican bar ever again. Because if you ever went to a Lincoln Day dinner for the last 25 years, the way I have, all you ever hear is, what are we going to do about the media and what are we going to do about the Clintons? Why do they get away with everything? Donald Trump shows up and kind of takes them both out and exposes them all. And for that alone, he's a legend, and for other reasons too. But he earned a lot of respect in the party early on by kind of confronting the people that had vexed Republicans for years. He stepped right up to the plate and took them on head on, and I think a lot of us appreciated that deeply.